Two mice that I've had for the better amount of this entire year are actually the LAMZU INCA and the Paro Aurora. These mice have gone absolutely under the radar, one more than the other. But if you've always wanted a smaller ergo mouse or a really high hump CA13 clone, definitely stick around for this video to find out if they're worth your money. But before we get into any of that, let's hear a word from our sponsor, Tipsy. Whether you're looking for an affordable do-it-all V-shaped banger or a super detailed and bright tuning to get the absolute edge on your opponents, Tipsy Audio got you covered with their all-new M1 and M3 lineup. Being in the IM industry for almost 10 years and having sold over 150,000 customized units, they've put all their knowledge and experience into their new universal models to give it that custom look and feel. Go get your new audio upgrade today with the link in the description down below, and make sure to use code JAKU at checkout to save a whopping 10% off of your entire order. As a quick disclaimer, these mice have indeed been sent out to me. However, rest assured that will not affect my opinion on these mice whatsoever. And I also do want to mention that you should definitely hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you're at all interested in these type of videos, cause oh boy, we're on a roll right now. Getting into the Moai unboxing experience. For the normal Paro without the high polling rate dongle, you do get a USB-A to USB-C adapter. You also get the normal tiny USB receiver that I can't find right now. You get a very stiff USB-A to USB-C cable. You get some decent grips and some extra skates that are actually 100% PTFE. And for the high polling rate models, you also get this 8K polling dongle. And then you also get the mouse itself. The unboxing experience for the Inca is pretty much the same, but it just comes with the high polling rate receiver inside of the box as well. And that's pretty much it. In terms of the build quality, these mice are definitely a bit different than the normal LAMZU mice. And when I say normal LAMZU mice, I talk about the Maya or the Maya X, for example. I don't know why, but the design language on these mice is very boring compared to the rest of their models, because these just look like OEM models from their manufacturer. And yes, LAMZU actually owns their own manufacturer, and they're very big and they produce a lot of OEM models for other mouse companies. So it feels like they kind of just took these designs off of the shelf and made a mouse out of it. But since we're talking about the build quality here, the only main difference that you can feel here is that the top shell is a bit more thin than all of their other mice. If you press it together like this, you can get the top shell to flex a tiny bit. You cannot get it to do a Corsair Saber moment. And during normal gameplay, it's nothing that you can feel unless you really put some pressure into the sides. And overall, I do not have any build quality complaints. These still feel very solid. There is some slight switch grinding over on my Paro here on the left side, but when playing in-game, there's nothing I have to complain about these two models. In terms of the weight, the Paro comes in at 51 grams and the Inca comes in at around 43.6 grams, which is kinda crazy for a mouse with this big of a hump. Now in terms of the shape, let's start with the more simple one first, which is the Inca. As you can see here in the comparison to a Saui CA13DW, these mice are virtually identical. The only thing that is very different are the side buttons and then also the lip that is completely missing on the Inca. The original design of the CA12, 13 and also the 11 model is that you have this lip where your ring finger can slide under when playing with a more relaxed type of grip. And back then, when mouse coatings were really bad or just not existent, that was really smart because you could slide your fingers under that lip and it would be really easy to pick the mouse up. Which was especially nice because these mice were super heavy back then. But yeah, that's not a thing on the Inca, it just has flat sides. Here you can see them side by side. As you can see, the design language is virtually identical. You also have similar comfort grooves on the main buttons. The button height is also very similar, and the overall feel of the mouse in hand is also very similar. On the CA13, you definitely have a bit of a wide butt that you can feel when gripping the mouse, and you can do the same thing over on the Inca. It doesn't feel like something that is truly different. In terms of all mice that have gone out there and cloned other shapes, this is definitely the closest one I've felt so far. If you've never tried a CA13 type of shape, let me compare it to a more traditional claw grip mouse, which would be the X2 Mini shape, for example. The X2 Mini is definitely considered a proper claw grip shape with the hump towards the rear. And as you can see, the CA13 type of shape has an incredibly high hump. Much higher than any other mouse shape on the market. This is because the original CA back then was designed for a palm grip, where you just stick your entire palm on a mouse and aim like a monkey. And if you are a sinner and do a palm grip, this could definitely be the perfect mouse for you. So if you curl up your fingers a lot and do a proper claw grip and not a short circuit claw grip
this size of mouse,
you can actually avoid the upper part of your palm gripping the mouse. You can also definitely do a pincer claw grip with it, where you don't touch the upper part of your palm, but only the knuckle part here for the pincer claw. And this actually feels really nice in game. I can definitely recommend it for a pincer with around 19x10 hands, or slightly smaller, or even slightly bigger. But for a relaxed claw grip, I cannot recommend this mouse. You are forced to put so much contact on the upper part of your palm. One of the super niche use cases for the CA13 type of shape is also a knuckle claw, where you place your knuckles on top of the hump and aim like this. Only a super few amount of shapes out there work very well for this, and the Inca just happens to be one of them. But yeah, for something like a fingertip grip or anything like that, there's not really a reason to look at something like this with a super high hump, and I think it's about time we talk about the Paro now. This is a small ergo mouse, and it's definitely smaller than a Thorn. I have 19x10 centimeter hands, and I do a bit more of a pincer claw grip on this thing, and as you can see, I am absolutely edging the front of the mouse up here. It is definitely more of a short mouse. However, the shape is fairly safe with no flare out towards the front, which pretty often completely ruins ergonomic mouse shapes, just like the original Def Adder back then. So if your hands are 18x10 or even shorter, I can definitely recommend it if you're looking for an ergo mouse. And if your hands are small enough, you can absolutely palm grip it. You can do an aggressive claw grip if you'd want to. You can relax claw it, but then again, make sure you have 18x10 centimeter hands or shorter. And where it really shines is a pincer claw grip, because it's an ergonomic mouse and it has enough support up here for the pincer grip. I can get myself to use it very comfortably over time, but I just have to curl up my fingers quite a bit because it's more of a short mouse. And in terms of comparisons for the Paro, the only mouse that I can find in my arsenal would be the X-Lite Mini, which is definitely similar in it being a small ergo mouse that is also almost too short for me. The overall length is very, very similar, but the hand feel just feels much more streamlined and natural over here on the Paro. It is a very pleasant shape. It has no weird curvatures that kind of stick out into your hand like the X-Lite does a bit over here on the left side. There are also no pronounced comfort grooves, unlike the X-Lite, which definitely has a lot of curvature over on the buttons, where it almost tells you where to place your fingers. But yeah, as you can see, overall size is pretty similar. The main difference between these two, however, is the weight, with the X-Lite Mini Crazy Light being at around 45 grams and the Paro being around 51 to 52 grams. Yes, you can feel that weight difference in game, but I do think that shape matters more than 5 to 6 grams. Getting into the coating, LAMZU just doesn't miss. It has a bit of a chalky feeling, also a bit of a rubbery feeling, and as soon as your hands are just a bit warm, these things definitely do grip, and I don't have any issues with these type of coatings, even here in the harsh winter in Switzerland. In terms of these skates, they have these 100% PTFE style skates with adhesion pads underneath, and if you know anything, and if you've watched any of my recent videos, these are the best skates to go for as a mouse manufacturer at the moment. In terms of the main buttons, they are using opticals. They sound pretty pingy, and I don't think that this is one of the best implementations that we have on the market at the moment. It's not too heavy for my likings, but I can see it being a tiny bit too tactile for some people. And the only thing annoying about these is just the sound, and you will hear that in the sound test right in a bit. Over on the Paro, it's not quite as annoying, but what is a tiny bit annoying is that the Paro has quite a bit of post travel here after the click, especially if you click more towards the front of the mouse, which I just happen to do because I have 19x10 centimeter hands and this mouse is just a bit too short for me. In terms of the side buttons, I don't have any real complaints, but I will say that there is a bit of post travel here on the rear side button on the Paro. And on the Inca, the side buttons are also alright. They're not too heavy, not too light. There are also no real issues to be found here, nothing I can really complain about. The scroll is nice and spammable. The steps aren't too defined. On the Paro, it is definitely a bit more tactile, a bit more defined, but still spammable. I definitely do prefer this implementation over the one on the Inca. And then for mouse 3, it's also not too heavy, not too light, actually really nice. And the Paro actually has a really satisfying scroll click that you'll hear in a bit. terms of the center position, it is dead center over on the Inca, and then over on the Paro, it is slightly shifted towards the front, which actually feels very natural on it because the curvature moves more towards the front of the mouse as well. So the way that most people would grip it, they probably end with their thumb somewhere here between the side buttons, and that is actually where the sensor is placed at, which I actually find a really good design. Getting into the WebDriver, you'll find it under LAMZU.net or in the description down below. If you bought the Aurora and need to pair your 8K dongle, you can do it up here in the right corner where it says pair. And once you've paired to the dongle, the first thing that I would recommend you doing is actually upgrading the firmware up here as well. If you are able to, just connect your mouse and your dongle, and then just follow their procedure. Getting into the mouse settings, the WebDriver is really nice. You have everything on one page, and I actually like it a lot. You can change your DPI here. You can even change the color of your profile that it shows on the LED. You can change your polling rate. You can change your lift-off distance between 3 stages. There's the sleep timer. You can even do angle tuning for sensor rotation. You can change your debounce time down here, even though they're optical switches. You can turn on the competition mode, which I actually highly recommend using. You can turn on or off motion sync. And then you have your macros on the left side. And you can also rebind your buttons here. I really do think that LAMZU did a phenomenal job with this WebDriver. Oh, and also if you want to, you can change your profiles up here. Now, getting into the conclusion, who is this mouse for? If you are a huge fan of the CA13 shape and you want a modern version of it, go right ahead and buy this thing. It is a great mouse. It has great build quality. The only thing I don't fully love about it are the clicks that are a bit pingy, but everything else about the mouse is great. It has a super low weight, especially considering that it's such a high hump mouse. And if you have never tried a CA13 type of shape, and you are a palm gripper or an aggressive claw or pincer claw gripper with around 19 by 10 centimeter hands or slightly bigger, I can also really recommend this type of shape because you have so much support over on the right side for the pincer claw. And as I've already said in my shape comparison, an aggressive claw and even a knuckle claw also works really well with this thing. The original design was definitely based on a palm grip and it's best for that, but I don't know, there's just not a lot of palm grippers out there anymore. And when it comes to the Paro, it is definitely more of a unique type of shape, although slightly inspired by the Def Adder. It's definitely more streamlined, it doesn't have anything that protrudes, and I can definitely recommend it for pretty much any type of grip if your hands are 18 by 10 or shorter. The main issue here is that it's definitely more of a short mouse, and me with my 19 by 10 centimeter hands, I am absolutely edging it all over the place. But here's the catch, $120. As you can see, LAMZU used to be more affordable. Their wireless mice, even their 4K compatible ones, used to be around $90, and when they were on sale, you could even get them with the high polling receiver for around $90 or even less. And adding another $30 just to get the receiver and this type of new LAMZU mouse, I don't know, it's a bit much. But then again, that's something up for you to decide, and if you want a CA13 clone, this is your only good option. And because there aren't too many small, really good ergo mice out there, the Paro also is a really decent option. It's just super difficult to compete in a market where there are mice like the MCHOS L7 that is $35 US and has perfect build quality, a nice coating, awesome buttons that I even highly prefer over these two LAMZU mice. And if you want to know more about the MCHOS L7, definitely make sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell right next to it, because I'm going to drop a budget mouse video later this year, which is probably going to be pretty big. Anyway, that's about it for this video. I would love to see these mice at around $99 US, especially because they lack a bit of character compared to their other designs that have a lot of mouse engineering going into them and making them a lot more unique on the market. But since the in-hand feel is what matters the most, these have definitely nailed it. Definitely stay tuned for more videos coming up, and I'll see you guys pretty soon. Peace out.